What is going on, old school RuneScape? Welcome back to the second episode in the Slayer series. I'm stoked you guys are loving this series. I've got a ton of positive feedback on episode 1 from everybody, and I thank you for that. But without further ado, let's hop right into episode 2. If you're just getting into this series, make sure you check out episode 1. This series is a progressive series, so in order to know what I'm talking about and where I'm going with this series, you'll need to see the first episode. The link to the first episode can be found in the description below. So, in the last episode, I left you guys working your way through Vanaka as our first Slayer Master. I'll start off with a short little recap of episode 1. In episode 1, we talked about getting started with the Slayer skill. I suggested waiting until at least the combat level of around 50 to start the skill, and starting off with the Slayer Master Vanaka so your tasks are easy, but not too easy, and you can still make a bit of profit even though you're of a lower level. So let's say you've been slaying for a bit with Vanaka, you've gained some Slayer levels and some combat levels, and now you're looking for your next challenge. Our next Slayer Master we encounter is going to be Chaeldar. Chaeldar can be found hovering around the throne room of the lost city of Zanaris. But before we go getting tasks from Chaeldar, we've got to make sure we have the proper requirements to A, get to her location, and B, have the ability to receive tasks from her. Before you can even enter Zanaris, you'll need to do the quest titled Lost City. Without completing this quest, you won't be able to gain access to the city, and you won't be able to use Chaeldar as your Slayer Master. So if you haven't done the Lost City quest, go ahead and get that out of the way. If you need a guide to the Lost City quest, check out the description of this video to find a link that will take you to a step-by-step guide. When entering the Lost City from the shed in the Lumbridge Swamp, you can run directly south to find the throne room where Chaeldar is located. But if you manage to gain access to the use of the fairy rings once you teleport into Zanaris, you'll need to run east to find the throne room. Now, assuming we've completed the Lost City quest, there's also another requirement for the use of Chaeldar. We're going to need a combat level of at least 70. Chaeldar only assigns tasks to a player whose combat level is 70 or higher, and for good reason too. Chaeldar gives a lot of the same tasks as Vanaka, but they are a little bit more difficult. You'll generally be assigned a greater number of something to kill, and she does offer some tasks that Vanaka doesn't, which may be a bit harder than we're used to. But with increased difficulty of Chaeldar's tasks comes increased reward, better drops, and of course more Slayer points per task. A single completed task rewards 10 points per task when assigned by Chaeldar. That's 2.5 times more per task than Vanaka. As with Vanaka, and every other Slayer Master for that matter, there are bonuses for when you complete your 10th, 50th, 100th, 250th, and 1000th task in a row. The points awards are as follows: 50 points every 10th task, 150 points every 50th task, 250 points every 100th task, 350 points every 250th task, and 500 points every 1000th task. Now, although we can use Chaeldar at level 70, just like with Vanaka, I don't think we should go rushing into it. I recommend having a slightly higher combat level than the level required. Maybe somewhere between 75 and 80 will do. As with Vanaka, having a higher combat level than Chaeldar requires will let us be a little bit more equipped to take on the tasks she assigns. Just remember, it's not so much the NPCs that are going to change, but the quantity you're assigned to kill. So now that we've worked our way up to using Chaeldar as our next Slayer Master, we're going to want to focus on getting ready for these bigger tasks. So here's where your Slayer points will come into play. The first thing we're going to want to buy with our Slayer points is the Malevolent Masquerade. As our Slayer level increases, we're going to be facing different creatures that can damage us in different ways. The Malevolent Masquerade purchase is going to give us the ability to assemble a Slayer helmet. In order to do this, you'll need to spend 400 Slayer points to learn how to create the mask, and buy some additional items that go with the construction of the helm. You'll also need to have a crafting level of 55 to construct the helm. The additional items needed to construct the Slayer helm are a nose peg, spiky helm, face mask, an enchanted gem, and earmuffs. You'll also need a black mask, but as of now, we should have acquired that already or be very close. This Slayer helm combines all of these items to protect you from certain abilities that some NPCs possess. For example, the earmuffs protect you from banshees, the nose peg from aberrant and deviant specters, the face mask from dust and smoke devils, and the spiky helm from wall beasts. The enchanted crystal will allow you to use the Slayer helm to check your current task simply by right-clicking and clicking the check option. The convenience of the Slayer helm is incredibly necessary, not to mention it'll give you some decent defensive stats. With the acquisition of the Slayer helm, we won't have to go rummaging through our bank every time we get a task that requires wearing something on your head, and we'll also be able to use whatever it is we need, plus the black mask for our invisible Slayer task stat boost. At the current point we're at, we're going to also want to have some decent gear. At this point, at least full rune. We're going to be using Chaeldar all the way through 85 combat, so as we level up, we'll start to gain access to some better and better gear along the way. Starting out, full rune will be fine for you. It provides decent stats and will keep us well protected for most of the tasks we're going to be facing. In addition to this, we're probably going to be wanting to use a rune scimitar to start out until we hit 60 attack at least. Once we're 60 attack, we'll be able to use a dragon longsword, which can be purchased and used after the completion of the Lost City quest. Now, I don't really recommend using a dragon longsword on your slayer tasks. It's not very efficient, but if it's the best you've got, it's what needs to be done. What I do recommend is using a dragon scimitar. In order to use a dragon scimitar, you'll need to complete Monkey Madness Part 1. Monkey Madness isn't an easy quest by any means. You'll need to have some decent levels and a bit of game experience to complete it, so if you're not quite ready to take it on, keep shredding away with your dragon long until you feel that you're ready. If you'd like to give it a shot and need a quest guide, check out the description again for a link to a great guide to Monkey Madness Part 1. So as we move right along, we're still using Chaeldar as our Slayer Master, and we're really starting to get up there in combat levels. After we've hit level 70 attack, strength, and defense, we've gained access to even better gear. By this time, we've probably saved up enough money to grab a set of Torag's armor. Torag's armor offers great defense against a lot of the Slayer assignments we're going to encounter. And if you're wondering, what about Dragon armor? Well, I wouldn't say to worry about that. Dragon armor offers stats only a little better than rune and will be outgrown quickly if we're moving at a decent pace. In all honesty, it's better to just bypass the Dragon armor and head straight for 70 defense, where we can start using the Barrow's armor. You can get a full set of Torag's armor for less than you can a Dragon chain body. In most cases, we're going to want to keep our defense high, so an Obsidian Shield might be a good option at this point, but if you're feeling like, hey, I've got this, go ahead and head over to the Warriors Guild and grab yourself a Dragon Defender. They offer great attack stats and a +6 bonus to strength. You may also be thinking, well, I'm 70 attack now, I want to use an Abyssal Whip. At this point in our journey, we might have enough loot saved up to sell off and buy a whip, but if we don't, no worries. Keep saving and you'll have the funds to grab one in no time. Personally, I think that armor is a little bit more important than your attack weapon. You'll be able to outlast your tasks, use less food. So if we want to go about it that way, I would say worry about the armor first, the weapons later. Keep in mind though, this is all suggested. If you can't afford what I'm recommending to use, don't sweat it, just keep slaying. And the money will flow. Save up your drops, set yourself some goals, and you'll have some awesome items to maximize your slaying efficiency in no time. So I think I've left you guys with some great information that I've provided in our second episode of the Slayer series. Take from it what you will. I promise it'll help you in the long run, but if you find something that works better for you, by all means go ahead and tackle it your way. I'm going to leave this episode right here. I think we're in a good spot for moving up to our next Slayer Master, but we're going to save that for the next episode, so stay tuned and keep an eye on the channel. For now, we're going to jump back into my personal Slayer journey, where I've been keeping track of all my drops, supplies used, and profit made. I've also got some pretty awesome Clue Scrolls loot as well. Last episode, I ended up with a total amount of task loot and clue loot of right around 10.9 mil, with a pure profit of 8.8 mil. I've been hard at work getting more tasks and more clues done, and I'm still moving in a decent direction. My loot for this episode wasn't nearly as good as last episode, but in the end, it's still money that I didn't have before. This drop in my income is most likely attributed to the fact that I had 3 Bloodbeld tasks in a row and an Abyssal Demon task that didn't provide any whips. But, like everything in life, you've got to keep pushing through and just weather the storm. In this episode, it only took me 6 Slayer tasks to hit 200,000 experience. Again, this is probably attributed to the 3 Bloodbeld tasks. I did end up getting 8 Clue Scrolls in this episode, the same as last episode, but with fewer completed tasks. For this episode, my 6 Slayer tasks totaled me 212,000 experience. With all of my drops, I ended up with an estimated value of 2.6 mil, a supply cost of 446,000, and a pure profit of 2.1 mil. Not the greatest, but also not the worst. As for the Clue Scrolls, they were all of the hard level and totaled me an additional 877k. Clue Scrolls don't really cost anything to complete, so this jumped my profit up to just about an even 3 mil. According to my spreadsheet, I have a running total of 10 mil for drops and 1.9 mil for clues, bringing my running total for both tasks and clues combined to 11.9 mil. You'll have to keep in mind that the spreadsheet values and the OS Buddy estimate are going to be of greater difference in every episode. When I do the estimated value, I check it in the price checker right when I complete the task. 2 things can account for this. The Grand Exchange values are constantly changing, and OS Buddy isn't accounting for the supplies that I've used. As of right now, OS Buddy is estimating that I have a combined loot total of 13.2 mil. Pair this with my unique Clue Scroll tab and I've got right around 14.1 mil. At this point, I'm averaging about 7 mil per 200,000 experience. I still don't think this is bad. If we think about the longevity of this, the last 3 levels on our way to 99 Slayer are all 1 million or more experience. So from level 96 to 99, that's 200,000 experience somewhere around 16 times. If we calculate 7 mil 16 times, that gives us 112 mil. So think about that. 112 mil for a skill that you have to level to get another 99 and grab that awesome skill cape. So guys, since now I'm done throwing all these numbers at you, that's going to do it for episode 2 of the Slayer series. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope it shed even more light on how profitable Slayer can be. I'm already working on episode 3, and I hope you'll be back to check it out. Don't forget to tap that subscribe button on your way out. Until next time everyone, take it easy.